This is the video you keep scrolling past. Not because you don't need it, because some part of you knows exactly what it's going to say. Today, that part of you loses. Because today, we're not talking about motivation. We're talking about the life you keep postponing. The version of you that you keep promising next month. The dream you've been quietly burying under excuses dressed up as reasons. This is not a pep talk. This is a wake-up call. So don't play this in the background. Sit with it. Let it land in your chest. Let every sentence ask you a question you've been avoiding. Because by the time this ends, you're either going to keep living the same year on repeat, or you're going to finally fix your life before it's too late. This is your last warning, disguised as a video. Before we start, if you want to sharpen your English while you rebuild your life, this is exactly the place for that. This channel, WisdomLoom English, exists for one reason: to help you grow your mind and your language at the same time. So hit subscribe now, because what comes next is going to change how you see everything. One more thing before we go further. This isn't going to feel comfortable, and that's on purpose. Comfort has had its turn. It's had months, maybe years, and look at where it's gotten you. So for the next few minutes, let comfort sit in the back seat. Let honesty drive. If a line hits you personally, don't brush past it. Pause, breathe. Let it actually land, and then keep going. Let's begin. Part 1. Stand up and do the work. Here is the sentence you've been running from. Stand up, do the work. That's the whole secret. No book will replace it. No course will substitute it. No amount of scrolling will ever add up to it. You're exhausted? Stand up anyway. You're grieving something? Stand up anyway. You're embarrassed by how far behind you feel? Stand up anyway. Because the world isn't pausing for your mood. Your bills aren't pausing. Your goals aren't pausing. The dream you shelved 5 years ago is still sitting there, patient for now, but not forever. Somewhere, right now, a version of you that gave up is still awake, still choosing the pillow over the plan, still choosing 40 more minutes of noise over 10 minutes of progress. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. The only road out is straight through the discomfort. You want a different bank account? Then build the skill instead of praying for the paycheck. You want people to respect you? Then earn it in silence instead of demanding it out loud. You want to feel proud when you look in the mirror? Then give that mirror something to be proud of. There is no trick. There is no hack. There is only one instruction, repeated daily. Stand up. Do the work. While you're waiting for a better time to begin, someone with your exact talent, your exact background, maybe even your exact fears, is already 3 steps ahead, simply because they refused to stop. They didn't feel ready either. They worked before the confidence arrived, not after. So ask yourself honestly, how many more Mondays are you going to waste on, "I'll start soon"? How much more of this one life are you willing to spend rehearsing instead of living? No matter how far off track you feel today, a comeback is still available to you. But only if you stand up. Only if the work becomes non-negotiable. The first rule of any real transformation is brutally simple. You stop negotiating with tiredness. You stop debating with comfort. You stop waiting to feel like it. You just move. And here's something worth sitting with for a second. Nobody is coming to rescue your schedule. Nobody is going to walk into your room and hand you discipline like a gift. The version of you that's still waiting for the right mood, the right timing, the right amount of energy, that version will wait forever. Because none of those things arrive on a calendar. They arrive because you decided to start without them. Think about the mornings you've already survived without wanting to. You got through those. This is no different. The work doesn't need your enthusiasm. It only needs your hands. Part 2. Turn your eyes back to your own life. There's a quiet habit wrecking more people's confidence than failure ever could. It isn't fear. It isn't even laziness. It's this. You're spending your best hours watching somebody else's highlight reel. Their body, their income, their relationship, their perfectly lit kitchen, their vacation. You scroll and scroll, and with every swipe your brain quietly learns one lesson. You are not enough. But here is what nobody tells you. You cannot build a strong life while you're busy studying someone else's stage. You were not created to be a spectator of other people's timelines. So hear this clearly. Turn your eyes back to your own life. Stop asking, how far ahead is she? Start asking, did I get better today than I was yesterday? Stop asking, will they be impressed? Start asking, would the future version of me be proud of how I spent this day? That single shift changes everything. Because confidence is never borrowed from someone else's achievements. It's built, brick by brick, from your own discipline. Picture a runner halfway through a race. He glances left. Someone's ahead. He glances right. Someone's behind. The moment he stops watching his own lane, his pace falls apart. That's exactly what happens to you every time you check somebody's feed instead of checking your own progress. And here's the part that stings. Every picture you envy is edited. Nobody posts the overdraft notice. Nobody posts the 3 a.m. panic. Nobody posts the fight in the parking lot or the years it took to look effortless. You are comparing your unfiltered footage to their trailer. So unfollow whoever makes you feel small. Mute whatever steals your focus. And redirect every ounce of that attention back into yourself. Whenever the urge to compare shows up, pause and ask one question instead. What actually needs work in my life right now? Your vocabulary? Your mornings? Your patience? Your savings? Whatever the answer is, go build that instead of watching someone else's version of it. From today, replace comparison with calculation. Calculate how far you've come. Calculate what habits are draining you. Calculate what needs fixing this week. You don't need to outdo them. You need to become unrecognizable compared to who you were 12 months ago. Say it with me. Their timeline is not my deadline. Their success is not my failure. I build in silence and let my results make the noise. Your attention is the most valuable currency you own. Stop spending it on people who don't even know your name. Turn your eyes back to your own life, or you'll wake up one day having watched everyone else live theirs, while yours sat untouched. Notice how quiet the successful version of you is going to have to become before it gets loud. That's not a contradiction, that's the order of operations. Build first, announce nothing. Let the noise come later, from other people, not from you. Every hour you spend narrating your life to strangers online is an hour you didn't spend actually living it. So close the tab, open the notebook, open the book, open the practice session. That's where the real version of you is quietly waiting to be built. Part 3. Retire the version of you that keeps folding. Let's be completely honest for one moment. The obstacle was never really the economy, your family, your city, or your luck. The real obstacle is this. There is a softer version of you still steering the wheel. A version that picks the couch over the gym, the excuse over the effort, the snooze button over the sunrise, later over now. And as long as that version is in charge, the stronger life you keep imagining will never actually arrive. So the goal isn't more motivation. The goal is retirement. You retire that outdated version of yourself for good. That weaker version isn't evil or stupid. It's simply undertrained. It was shaped by comfortable routines, easy scrolling, easy sleeping in, easy quitting. It whispers familiar lines. I'll fix this tomorrow. I'm just tired today. I need to feel motivated first. That voice has been running your life on autopilot, and it's expensive. You cannot build a powerful future while protecting a fragile identity. You cannot rise while still being loyal to the version of you that loves staying down. So what actually has to happen? That old identity has to be replaced. Not overnight, but decision by decision, habit by habit. Think of someone lifting weights for the first time. The bar feels unbearably heavy. Every fiber screams stop. But if he pushes through that exact moment, the weak muscle fails, so a stronger one can be built in its place. That is the entire mechanism of change. Discomfort isn't punishment. It's the price of an upgrade. So instead of asking, "Do I feel like it?" start asking, "What would the strongest version of me do in this exact minute?" Every early morning you choose, that old identity gets weaker. Every distraction you refuse, it starves a little more. And slowly, it stops running the show. People want the results without the discomfort. They want new confidence while keeping old habits. That combination doesn't exist. One version has to go. If something is uncomfortable but it's making you better, keep doing it. If something is comfortable but it's making you smaller, stop doing it today. Retire procrastination. Retire the habit of quitting in week 2. Retire waiting for permission from people who never asked for the job of approving your life. Say this slowly, out loud if you can. The old me does not belong in my future. Discomfort is my training partner. I choose difficulty because ease has already cost me enough. You are not broken. You are not late. You are simply carrying around an old identity that has overstayed its welcome, and it's time to show it the door. This isn't a single dramatic decision you make once and forget. It's a small, repeated choice, made every single time the old identity tries to speak up. It will try again tomorrow morning. It will try again the next time something feels hard. Your job isn't to defeat it permanently in one heroic moment. Your job is to simply outvote it, one choice at a time, until its voice gets quieter and quieter, and the stronger version of you becomes the one that automatically responds. Stay with me. This next part is the one people usually skip, and it's exactly the part that changes everything. Part 4. Let your results answer for you. There was a season when people believed in you. Maybe that season has quietly ended. Maybe they've stopped asking about your plans. Maybe, if you're honest, you gave them a reason to stop believing. You started strong, then slowed down. You promised something big, then settled into comfort. And somewhere along the way, the cheering turned into silence, and the silence turned into doubt. Now maybe they say things like, "She always starts and never finishes," or "He talks about it but nothing ever changes." Good. Let them keep saying it, because you're about to hand them something new to say. Most people let that kind of doubt crush them, but the ones who actually break through use it as fuel instead. They remember exactly who doubted them, and instead of arguing, they simply disappear into the work. Picture someone who was overlooked for years, passed over, underestimated, quietly written off. Instead of chasing anyone's approval, they chased consistency. No announcements, no updates, just relentless, quiet effort. Years later, they walk back into the room completely changed, and the same people who doubted them are left asking, "Wait, how did that happen?" That's the transformation available to you right now. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to defend your plans. You need results loud enough to speak on your behalf. Let your consistency answer them. Let your skills answer them. Let your English, your discipline, your patience answer them. Every early morning you choose while they're still asleep is an answer. Every hour of practice while they assume you've quit is an answer. You want a real comeback? Then stop announcing it and start building it. Go quiet. Go focused. And one day, when the results are undeniable, you won't need to say a single word. The room will say it for you. Say it with me. They doubted me, and I turned it into discipline. I don't argue back. My progress argues for me. You don't owe anyone a comeback speech. You owe yourself the comeback. And notice something important here. This isn't about proving anyone wrong out of bitterness. It's about becoming so consistent that doubt simply stops making sense as an option. The people who doubted you aren't your enemy. They're just a mirror showing you exactly how convincingly you gave up last time. Change the evidence, and the doubt disappears on its own. You won't even need to defend yourself, because there will be nothing left to argue about. Part 5. Retire your excuses before they retire your dream. Let's dismantle the most convincing lie you've ever told yourself. It's not really my fault. I didn't have the time. I'm just too exhausted right now. I'll begin properly next month. This lie is powerful precisely because it feels comforting. It protects your ego in the exact moment you need to be pushed, not protected. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Every excuse you accept quietly assassinates a future version of you. You say, "I'm not motivated." The real issue is, you're waiting for a feeling instead of just moving. You say, "I'm too tired." The real issue is your habits, not your energy. You say, "Today was long." The real issue is, you had the same 24 hours as everyone else, and this is what you chose to do with them. Picture two people with almost identical circumstances. One says, "I simply don't have time for this." The other says, "If I only have 10 minutes, I'll use those 10 minutes. 5 years later, one of them is still explaining why nothing changed. The other is living a completely different life. The difference was never luck or intelligence. It was one refusing to negotiate with excuses. So here's the process. First, notice your own language. I can't. I don't have. I'm not. Those phrases are warning signs. Catch them the moment they appear. Second, ask a sharper question. Not "what does tired me want to do," but "what would the strongest version of me choose right now?" Then act on that answer, even in a small way. Third, make the excuse uncomfortable to keep. Write it down when it happens. Today I chose comfort and stayed exactly where I was. Reading that back at night is more motivating than any speech. Say this daily. Excuses are a story I tell myself to avoid growth. Discomfort today is cheaper than regret tomorrow. Every excuse I refuse to accept becomes a brick in my new life. The world doesn't remember your reasons. It only remembers your results. So starting today, no more explanations, no more stories, just the decision, made repeatedly, to show up anyway. And when the old excuse shows up tomorrow wearing a new outfit, calling itself just being realistic or just being cautious, recognize it for what it is and show up anyway. Part 6. Stop arguing with your own potential. When exactly did you start believing you weren't enough? Was it the first time someone laughed at your plan? Was it the moment you were told to be realistic? Was it one failure that convinced you never to try that particular thing again? Somewhere along that road, a quiet voice moved in and never left. You're not ready. What if this fails too? Who do you think you are? That voice has been mistaken for wisdom for far too long. Here's the truth that dismantles it completely. Your doubt is not intelligence. It's not maturity. It's a program, installed by old failures and other people's opinions, running quietly in the background without your permission. And it shows up at the exact moment you're about to grow. Because its entire job is protecting your comfort zone. Picture a lion raised in captivity, pacing the same enclosure every single day. One morning, the gate is left wide open. Freedom is right there, but the lion doesn't move, because somewhere in its mind, the cage is still real, even though it's gone. That's exactly what self-doubt does to you. The limitations from your past may no longer exist, but your mind keeps pacing the same old circle out of habit. Every time you doubt yourself, you quietly hand over a piece of your future. You shrink your voice in rooms where you should be heard. You settle for smaller when you were built for more. And years later you look back and realize the truth wasn't, "I wasn't good enough." The truth was, "I never let myself find out." So change the question. Stop asking, "Can I actually do this?" And start asking, "How exactly can I make this happen, one step at a time?" That single shift moves you from fear into action. Build a case against the doubt. List everything you've already survived. The setbacks you handled, the skills you picked up, the moments you kept moving when quitting felt easier. That list is your evidence. Read it whenever doubt shows up uninvited. Trust your effort more than your emotions, because feelings lie constantly, but consistent work never does. Say this out loud. I am not defined by my history. I am defined by what I'm still capable of building. Doubt has never created anything. Action creates everything. It's time to stop asking for permission from people who are still waiting for permission themselves. Here's a small but powerful practice. Every night, write down one thing you did today despite the doubt. Not something huge. Something small counts. A sentence you spoke in English even though you were scared of the accent. A task you finished even though you didn't feel ready. Over weeks, that list becomes undeniable proof that your doubt has been wrong more often than it's been right. Read that list on the days doubt gets loud again. Let your own history argue on your behalf. Part 7. Your life won't shift until you do. Let's take apart one more comforting lie. Maybe things will just get better on their own. Maybe next year looks different. They won't. And here's why. Your life isn't a lottery ticket. It's a mirror. It reflects your habits, your standards, your discipline, your daily choices, nothing else. If none of those change, next year will be a near-perfect copy of this one, and the year after that too. Every January, people announce, "This is my year," then carry the exact same habits straight into February. 12 months later, they're standing in the same spot, just a little more tired and a little more discouraged. The reason is simple. Nothing about who they are actually changed. So read this slowly. You don't receive what you hope for. You receive what you're actually willing to change for. Want to be healthier? Change your discipline around food and movement. Want to be financially stronger? Change your relationship with your skills and your spending. Want to speak fluent English? Change your daily speaking habit, not your daily wishing habit. Audit your life honestly. Look at your mornings, your distractions, your circle, your energy leaks. Fix what's broken. Remove what's toxic. Repeat what's actually working. Stop chasing goals and start installing systems, because systems don't rely on motivation to function. Speak English out loud for 10 minutes daily, no exceptions. Move your body for 20 minutes, no matter your mood. Write down 3 honest thoughts before bed. Learn something new like your future depends on it, because it genuinely does. Change doesn't require a dramatic overhaul. It requires small, repeated, stubborn action. Say this: if I don't change, nothing around me will either. My habits are quietly writing my future right now. I'm not waiting on luck. I'm building the discipline that replaces it. Part 8. Get 1% better, on purpose, every day. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need everything figured out today. But you do need to move, even slightly, every single day. Because real progress isn't built from intensity. It's built from repetition. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can push incredibly hard for one single day and still fail overall. You can feel unstoppable for 1 week and still slide backward. But if you commit to improving by even one small percentage daily, no matter how you feel, that compounds into something unrecognizable within a year. Take English fluency as an example. One new word today, one better sentence tomorrow, one honest correction the day after. After 30 days, something has shifted. After 90 days, your confidence is visibly different. After a full year, people start asking how you suddenly became fluent, and the answer is embarrassingly simple. Daily repetition, not a single miracle moment. So what deserves daily attention? Your mind. Read something useful. Question an assumption. Learn one new word. Your body. Move for at least 15 minutes, even briefly. Your energy. Remove one draining habit and add one strengthening one. Whether that's a short walk, quiet breathing, or an early night. Your skill. Whatever you're building, whether it's English, a trade, or a craft, give it a small, consistent block of time. Say this daily. My only target today is 1% better than yesterday. I'm not chasing a lucky break. I'm installing a repeatable system. Every small repetition today is a seed for the person I'm becoming. Most people run on autopilot. Wake, survive, sleep, repeat, and then wonder, years later, why nothing changed. You've chosen a different pattern, and one day, someone will ask how you became this version of yourself, and your honest answer will simply be, I improved a little, every single day, without skipping. There's a strange comfort in this once it clicks. You stop needing a perfect day to feel like you're winning. A rough morning doesn't ruin the whole plan anymore, because the plan was never about being perfect. It was about showing up in some small form, no matter what the day threw at you. Some days your 1% will look like 30 minutes of focused work. Other days, it will look like 5 honest minutes when everything in you wanted to quit. Both days count. Both days compound. Part 9. Go back to the reason you started. There was a time when your goal felt electric. When you woke up early not because you had to, but because you wanted to see how far the day could take you. Before people told you to be realistic, before disappointment made you cautious, before distraction quietly took the wheel. Do you remember that feeling? That pull toward a life bigger than the one you're currently living? More freedom, more meaning, something built by your own hands that actually matters? That wasn't a childish fantasy. That was a signal pointing toward who you're actually capable of becoming. But life got loud, and fear got louder, and comfort became familiar, and somewhere in that noise, the signal got quieter. So before this video ends, before life's noise rushes back in, go back to that reason. Picture someone standing at the edge of a decision. Behind them, old excuses, old fear, old comfort. Ahead of them, the unknown, but also everything they've ever wanted. Most people turn back, not because they're weak, but because familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar hope. That's how most dreams quietly disappear, not in one dramatic moment, but piece by piece. First the planning stops, then the effort stops, then even the conversation about it stops. But you're still here, still listening, which means something in you refuses to let it die completely. So right now, we rebuild it. Say this: I still remember what I set out to build. I don't need anyone's permission. I simply need to start moving again. This isn't just another motivational video you'll forget by tomorrow. This is a mirror showing you exactly where you stand and exactly what's still possible. You don't get this exact chance twice. Whatever brought you here today, a rough week, a quiet sense that something needs to change, a late night scrolling for a sign, treat it as the sign. Not because this video is special, but because you showed up for it, and that alone tells you something. The part of you that clicked play is the same part that still wants this. Don't let it go quiet again the moment the video ends. So take everything you just heard. Take the discomfort. Take the honesty. Take these 9 reminders. And make one real decision today. You are not staying the same. You are not giving up quietly. You are becoming someone the old version of you wouldn't even recognize. So stand up. Do the work. Turn your eyes back to your own life. Retire the weaker version of yourself. Let your results speak. Retire every excuse. Stop arguing with your own potential. Take responsibility for the shift. Improve daily on purpose. And above everything else, go back to the reason you started. If this reached you the way it was meant to, come be part of WisdomLoom English, where we build stronger minds and stronger English every single week. Subscribe now, so the next one finds you exactly when you need it. Now go build it.